Today we have Emma Sánchez, that is founder of Jefa. Jefa is a challenger bank created by women for women. Welcome, Emma. How are you? How's everything going?
Good, Andrea. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Thank you. No, thank you for being here. Can you tell us a little bit about Jefa? What do you mean, like, with a challenger bank created by women for women?
Yeah, definitely. So Jefa is a digital bank, and the core idea behind it is that women have distinct financial needs and they face unique barriers to accessing those needs and getting those met. So at Jefa, we're trying to design a product, data, marketing, distribution channels, everything around the idea that women, need a unique solution. So we're really excited to be launching that in Mexico in about a month.
Yes, and tell me a little bit about how the idea came to your mind, like why a challenger bank for women. Do you saw like an opportunity here in Mexico with women being able to have an account, or how the idea came to your mind?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I've been working in finance for about 8 years, and I actually started my career on the corporate side of things at Bridgewater Associates, which is the world's largest hedge fund.
Yeah.
And then I became really interested in financial inclusion. So I've spent the last a number of years working around the world, but mostly in Africa, on financial inclusion efforts. The thing I didn't know is that of the 1.5 billion people in the world who don't have a bank account, nearly 1.4 billion are women. And it took me most of my career in financial services to land up on that statistic. And the reason I came across it was because I was previously running another fintech company, also a digital bank. We were building a solution across East Africa. We had a lot of traction, but we saw an interesting quirk, which was that the majority of our users, upward of 85% of them, were men. And that was what made me ask the question, why is this happening? And I landed on that statistic that most women, most of the unbanked people in the world are women. And I thought, this is fascinating. And why is this happening? And that's how we landed up on, the fact that women do have unique financial needs that aren't being met.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're really excited now to be taking that concept of, women do have unique financial needs and they need a solution tailored to those, and delivering that in Mexico, because Mexico is just a fascinating and exciting landscape that we can dive into later, but a really exciting place for us to launch first.
Yes, and well, you have a lot of like interesting um, points that you mentioned right now, and one that I have, or I want to ask you, is why do you think this amount of women aren't able to have an account? What they face with a bank, for example, that doesn't allow them to have a bank account, or just an account?
Yeah, it's a great question. The answer varies around the world. It's different in a variety of geographies, but what we see in Latin America is that there's four key reasons. One is the fact that many banks require a deposit minimum requirement, and many women aren't able to meet that requirement.
Okay.
That especially makes sense given women earn less than men and have a harder
Yeah.
time putting that money forward. The second reason is around marketing channels. What we see is that because women require more upfront investment and the margins are smaller, banks tend to invest in marketing channels designed, by men for men.
Yeah.
And you can think of the example of, the Santander logo across a soccer jersey. That wouldn't be a channel that would likely reach a lot of women, since mostly men attend football games. So I think that is another reason.
Mhm.
The third is the fact that women often shoulder caregiving duties, which means they're in the home. So physically traveling to a bank branch to open an account can be a real barrier. And most banks in Latin America do still require you to travel to the branch to set up your account. So that's where being a digital solution is really great for us.
Mhm.
And then the fourth and final reason is around financial literacy. Women do have lower levels of financial literacy, and banks tend to offer overly confusing products that don't feel intuitive for women to use. So a lot of what we're doing at Jefa is around behavioral science and understanding, women's psychology and how they're actually how they're looking to use financial services, so that we can build a product that's intuitive and pretty straightforward for them to use.
And what are you planning on the products that you're launching? Because I think that's very interesting that you're analyzing what in a way women want or they need in an account. So what have you discovered in all this analyzing, I don't know, doing a lot of research? Also here in Mexico, probably it's different what women want in a bank than maybe in the United States. So what have you found here in Mexico, and what's the product, or yeah, what product is going to offer Jefa to the women here in Mexico?
Definitely. So we're really excited to build a full suite banking solution. So we'll have everything from a debit card to a virtual account to peer-to-peer payments, the normal things you would expect in a bank. But then, like you said, we're trying to add on additional layers, not only building the product in a way that's more intuitive for women, but actually offering them services and features that are tailored to their unique behavior in financial services. So one example of that is our Tandas feature. And you may have heard of Tandas, but essentially it's a rotating credit and savings program, which is really common, interestingly enough, in 200 countries around the world. 200 languages, sorry, there's 200 words for Tandas around the world. So
we should get that list just in case you go to another country, you know how to go with the Tandas.
Yeah, that's a local integration tip. I love it. So yeah, it's interesting because it's behavior that we see that's very common globally among women. And the whole idea behind Tandas is that you're bringing together a group of community members to contribute to a sort of pot. You each contribute, say, $50 every month, and at the end of the month, one member of that pot takes that home. And this is very common in Mexico. In fact, at any given time, more than 30% of the population is actively engaged in a tanda, and most of these people are women. So it's fascinating, but it's happening entirely in the informal economy. And what you see because of that is that there's a lot of barriers around trust, transparency, organization, security, things that could be easily solved by a digital solution. So what we've done with Jefa is create time that customers are already having in the informal economy and bringing that into our app. So that's a way that, the product is very tailored specifically to women's behavior. And we're really excited to see customer adoption for that.
Yeah, that's super interesting what you just mentioned before, that it's something that here in Mexico, it's commonly used, and in other countries too, like the tanda. But we have this, that maybe you don't trust if your money is going to be safe, if that person is going to get out and then your money is out. So it's good that you're doing this and like tailored it in a way that is going to be helpful with a digital solution, because then you give the people that are at Jefa, like the women that are at Jefa, this sense that their money is safe. So you can keep doing what you have been doing for years, but you don't have to have this uncertainty that if is it going to be safe, my money is going to be safe there, and I think that also with everything that's happening around the world with this pandemic and everything, you're being more careful with where is your money at and what are you doing with your money. So I think this is going to be a lot of helpful for these women that are used to do the tandas, right?
Yeah, thank you. We're really excited about it. I think it's going to be one of our winning features, although there are also, of course, other features we're excited about as well. For example, when men save, they save for general purposes, but when women save, they save for goal-oriented purposes. So we've designed a savings program we call Jefa Goals, where women can save specifically for, math lessons for their son or up sorts of things, and that's really exciting as well. So I think as we grow, we're really looking forward to continuing to roll out features that are specifically designed for women, by women. We're mostly women on the team, and to have that sort of touch point to be able to actually bring value to women's lives in a way that is familiar to them based on their existing financial behavior.
Perfect. And you were saying that you're gonna launch here in Mexico. Do you have a date for the launch? And this is just to let women know that are gonna watch this interview to be like prepared for when it comes to that. But what are they gonna need in order to open an account at Jefa? Because they're probably gonna be waiting. I would put it on my calendar just to be safe. But what documents or what information am I going to need to upload to Jefa, because it's going to be all digital, in order to have an account or to be like a possible candidate for Jefa, right?
Definitely. So our beta launch is on International Women's Day, which is
Oh,
March 8th, and we're super excited to be rolling out soon. And in order to sign up, a customer will need a government issued ID
yeah.
and 5 minutes of their time, where they essentially put in their email address, set a password, give us their address and their name, and a couple other additional details. But the onboarding process is really straightforward. It's 3 simple steps, and we'll verify you quickly to set up your account, and then you'll get your card in the mail to start spending in
Yeah.
crypto.
Well, it sounds like something really fast, and that it's going to be easy in a way also for women to, if you haven't opened an account like in any bank. I think it's a good way to let them get into this bank system, to have their finances in some place that it's okay. Let's see how it's going to work, like to try.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're really excited to get this off the ground. Right now, we have 100,000 women on our wait list, almost 100,000. We should be hitting that this week. And we can't wait to roll out to that wait list. So essentially, we're doing a beta launch to the first few thousand, and then we'll do the launch to the rest of the wait list, probably April and May. So you can start to look
Great,
forward to
Emma.
that. We're so excited.
It's almost there. And also I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned before that the team of Jefa, there are a lot of women. So I wanted to know, like, if I would be a candidate, or if I wanted to be part of Jefa, let's say, what are you looking for the people who are part of Jefa? Like for the candidates, like really, what are you looking for in the candidates?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. And we are going to be growing our team a lot over the next year or two. So
Right.
uh, welcome any candidates to come to come join us, Andrea.
Yeah.
We'll have, I think there's really 3 values that we like to think about when hiring, because we're a very values-based company.
Right.
So our 3 values are learning and growth, transparency, and customer obsession. And what that means when we look at candidates is we look at candidates who have a growth mindset, meaning they're excited to learn things they don't know, they want to explore new ideas, they're ready to contribute to all areas of growth in the company. On the transparency side of things, what we're looking for is people who want to be in an environment of collaboration and shared ideas and, open flows of communication. This is especially important since we are a remote first team. We want to be sure to
Right.
create an environment where transparency can thrive. And then the last one is the customer obsession. And we use that term to say that we want to bring people onto the team that have a real heart for the customers we're serving, because we are a mission company, meaning we have a big mission to, bring financial services to people who have never had access to them
Yeah.
before. And we really want to bring people on board who understand the customer, empathize with them, and want to, dedicate their time to serving that customer well.
Yes, that's great. And I think you said, and you mentioned a very important point, that is to the customer service, but for someone or for people that have never maybe have access to financial service. So you can't expect them to act the same way that for someone who has been using a bank account for practically all their life, right? So I think that's a very important point. And we're if you're a candidate that has all of those 3 points, I think it would be a great opportunity for them to get to know Jefa, and maybe to apply if when you're growing.
Yes, absolutely. Send us a message on our website. We'd love to speak.
Yes, Emma. And one last question: in your opinion, what does the Mexican market has like as or differentiates from the rest of regions or other parts of the world that makes it so attractive for fintechs to come here to Mexico?
Yeah, it's a great question. I love Mexico. I spent a lot of time there as a kid, and my
Really?
heart my heart is in Jalisco. So I think there's 3 things that we're really attracted to in Mexico. One is the fact that most women in Mexico don't have a bank account, but the majority of them do participate in the labor force, which
Mhm.
means they're earning money and they're looking for somewhere to manage it. So for us, this is the ideal scenario to launch a digital bank for women. The other thing, of course, is that women control 80% of household spending. So they're very much the customer we want to be serving. The second reason with Mexico is around the fintech regulation, and I'm sure this is something you've talked about in fintech now. I love listening to your sessions on this, because this is really what sets Mexico apart, especially in Latin America, is that it's so ahead in terms of, new licensing opportunities for fintechs and the ease of getting those. So we're really excited right now to be starting the process of getting 2 different licenses. And we think this will, be a big leg up for us, but it's also a big reason why Mexico stands apart, because it's that much easier to launch in. The third reason I would mention, that goes without saying, maybe because I'm American, I have a bias here, but it's $38 billion every year moving between the US and Mexico. And that's one of the largest remittance corridors in the world. In fact, the 3rd largest. So that opportunity is really fascinating, particularly for us, because women make up more than 70% of remittance recipients, which means that Mexico is a really exciting environment for us when we see remittances as a form of topping up an account. So, rather than just connecting your Jefa account with an existing bank account, we want to connect your Jefa account with the, remittance corridors in the US, so that you can receive money directly into your account and start managing and spending it, from family members and friends abroad. So that's the third reason I would say I'm really excited about Mexico. There's so many more on the list, but Mexico is an exciting place to be starting.
Yes, and I think that you mentioned, okay, those 3, but I think there are lots of reasons why Mexico seems so attractive for the fintechs. And I think that what you mentioned about this, the laws and everything that's been going on, the regulations and everything, I think that it's gonna keep changing for years probably. But it's good that we're and something that I mentioned also to all of the candidates that we have in process with fintechs, that it's so interesting because you're growing with everyone that's involved in fintech. So you're growing with the company, you're growing with the founders, you're growing with the teams, you're growing with the CNBV, right? So you're growing with everyone that it's involved in the fintech ecosystem. So for me, that's amazing. Even we have these conversations. Every time I have a conversation with someone, I keep learning something new. So I think that's amazing, and that's something really cool that we have in the ecosystem.
I love that so much. One of my firm beliefs in this fintech landscape in Mexico is that a rising tide raises all ships. And this is such a time to be a fintech. I think we have so much room for collaboration. There's tons of opportunities to join together and create a revolution for fintech in Mexico. And we're so excited to be a part of it.
Yes. Well, it has been amazing to have this talk to you, Emma, and to get to know a little bit more about Jefa. I don't know if there's anything else you want to tell us about you, about Jefa, about the company.
Yeah, I think that's all from my side of things. It's been a fantastic conversation, and we'll be hoping that lots of customers and potential candidates see this and come join us at Jefa.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you very much for your time, Emma, and have a great day, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you. Looking forward to it. Cheers, Andrea. Bye-bye.
Cheers.